Hello, beautiful people. Of course, it's your girl Am. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful night, morning, afternoon, whenever you are watching this. I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was really hard to record this video because it's been a few weeks since I last recorded, which mostly is because of just like my laziness. But today, for some reason, I was just going through it. Like, I was just having like anxiety over anxiety, and it just was not working out for me. Like, this video should have been done like a couple hours ago because I had all day to do it, but it's okay because God is good and he will work all things for my good, and he says in his word to not be anxious, and all we have to do is just pray and he will give us peace. So that is what I did, and here we are. God is good. So as you can see, I am going to be doing a get ready with me and just kind of sharing the story of my first ever solo trip to LA, first ever solo trip in general as well, but then it was my first time going to LA, and just kind of letting you know what the experience was in case you guys decide that that's something that you guys may want to do in the future. I mean, I feel like my experience is a little bit unique, but I guess you'll be prepared for whatever possible thing could happen. So sorry if the lighting is not the best. I kind of have you guys standing on top of my laptop, on top of this like little box thing, and then I'm using my desk lamp for my light because my ring light would just not fit on here. So this is just gonna have to be it. All right, so I've never done a get ready with me before, so hopefully it's like a good combination of you guys seeing my makeup look and me talking, because I feel like I might forget to talk if I'm so focused on something. But we're just gonna get right into it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. So I went to LA September 3rd of 2020 because my birthday's on September 4th, and so I wanted to do something for my birthday, and I've never I've never gone to a trip by myself before, and I've always wanted to go to LA, so I just kind of decided to take a solo trip. Most of the places in LA was shut down anyways, so I couldn't really do too much, but it was more just to kind of go like sightseeing and maybe even just go on a tour. Yes, I went in 2020 and COVID was still a thing, and I mean it's still a thing now, but I was very safe, went alone, and I had peace about it. So I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so let me actually try and like start getting my makeup done. I'm actually gonna try and go for like a really simple look. I have all my makeup right here. I don't know if I can show you guys, but I have like a ton of stuff. I'm not one to really go like too dramatic. Sorry if my hair is like sticking out. Anyways, I'm not one to really go too dramatic when it comes to my looks. I don't know, I just really like the simple beauty. Like, my goal every time I put makeup on is for you to barely even know that I have makeup on, aside from like if I were to put like eyeliner on or something like that, like, you know what I mean? And I've been doing a lot of like skincare as well for myself, so let me know what you guys think about that. So I haven't really been putting a ton of foundation, so it's gonna be the first time in a while that I put foundation on. Not that I really feel like I need it, but whatever. All right, so I usually like to start with my eyebrows. I recently got my eyebrows done. I just have to get the touch-up done. It's called ombre powder brows. Basically, it's like a tattoo for your eyebrows to kind of give you a permanent makeup look. After I get my touch-up, then it should be more of like a makeup, like eyebrow fill-in look, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna start with my eyebrows. I might just fill them in a little bit more since they're not super dark right now, and I kind of like more of like a darker brow look. Some people might even say that this looks fine in itself, but I personally like it darker. I just got this. I don't know if you guys ever tried the Fit Me concealer before, but I was out of the one that I had, so I don't remember what brand it was. I'm not really big on brands, but I decided to just try this one out. It was only a couple bucks. I think it was like $4 or $5 at Walmart. So we're gonna try it. Looks pretty good. Hopefully it's my shade, because I think I might have gone a little lighter than I normally do. but for concealer, this should be fine. I can fill it in, I can like blend it in well enough. Also, I forgot to even mention, the reason why I'm getting ready is because I'm going out with a friend tonight that I met at a young adults group at this other church that my other friend invited me to. And we just met each other and we've been hanging out. Like, this will be our second time hanging out. She's pretty cool, so maybe I'll tell her to look at this video so then she knows I shouted out. Before you guys say something, I don't have a foundation brush or my beauty blender. I left it at my job. We're gonna try to improvise. I might just use this, which is more for, it says blending brush, but it's more for kind of like if you want to do highlight, that kind of thing. But I'm gonna use it anyway, because why not? So yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about my trip. Like, I'm still all over the place. So yeah, like I was saying, I went to LA for my birthday. And actually, let me try to blend this a little bit more. We're gonna use the Brow Stylist Shape and Fill by L'Oreal, the dark brown color. So yeah, like I said, the reason why I went was because it was my birthday and I just wanted to experience a solo trip for the first time. I did a ton of research beforehand just to figure out the best way to go about everything where I'm as safe as I could be. And so I just decided to go to a hostel instead of just staying at a hotel, because I thought it might be cool just to experience that, because I've never done that before either. And since it was during COVID times, there wasn't a lot of people who were, and it was a lot cheaper too, which is like one of the main reasons I did it. But since it was during COVID times, there wasn't a lot of people who were trying to stay in hostels or were just traveling in general. So luckily I was able to get a room with just like one other person, or at least I thought that was luckily, but you know, we'll see how the story progresses. So it wasn't that big of a deal. And they showed me pictures of the hostel, so it's big enough where I can, you know, not be as concerned about health and, you know, just COVID in general or whatever. So yeah, I only had one roommate. She was supposed to come the day after, which she did. So I wasn't as worried about it. I went for like 4 days. Ooh, that looks good. I haven't filled my eyebrows in so long. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm about to look so cute. I'm not even ready for this. Ugh. So my flight had a layover in Denver. I was going from Tampa, and the layover time in Denver was like 10 hours, if I remember correctly. It was a long time. It was like a full day, like 8 or 10 hours. But it was kind of nice. I didn't mind just chilling in the airport for a while. And so yeah, the airplane ride from Tampa to Denver was pretty anticlimactic. Like, nothing really happened. It was just kind of a trip, you know. I've been on planes before. It was just the first time I was there by myself, and it wasn't really that different. It wasn't until I went from Denver to LA where things kind of got interesting. There were these two guys that I happened to be sitting near on the plane. One guy I was sitting next to, and then the other guy was sitting directly behind him. And I ended up finding out that they knew each other because I started striking up a conversation with the guy next to me because I was by myself. And part of the reason why I wanted to go by myself was to kind of force me to kind of step out of my bubble a little bit and just kind of like, you know, get to know people and talk to people I normally wouldn't talk to if I was surrounded by my friends. Just because I wouldn't feel like there is a need to get to know anybody else or to strike up a conversation. So yeah, I started talking to him. He looked like he was around my age. And then eventually he introduced me to his friend that was sitting directly by him. They started telling me more about, you know, why they were going to LA and what they do. The guy next to me, he is a photographer. He said he was a photographer. And then the guy behind him said he was a model. Which I guess I realized this after actually being in LA, that it's not very uncommon to to meet people who do stuff like that on a regular basis. I thought that was pretty cool how like right off the bat I met somebody who was like that talented, you know. And he showed me his work too. He wasn't just like saying it and was like, yeah, I'm that, and then like, you know, messing with me. Like, he showed me his work, and then the model showed me his work. I followed them both on Instagram and saw, and they're actually pretty successful. Like, they were both going for like to LA for separate gigs that they had, but they were good friends, so they decided to go together and kind of time their gigs at the same time and whatnot, or their shoots, I should call it, because that's what they call it. But yeah, so then it was a pretty chill. Got back to the hostel. I'll try and insert a picture, but I thought it was so cute. Called them the day before I arrived, just to get everything finalized for the trip. And I ended up telling them that it was gonna be my birthday the next day, and that's why I decided to take the trip. And they were so sweet. Like, they put balloons on my bed and just said happy birthday and everything like that. It was like super, super cute. These people are so amazing. They got me balloons because they know it's my birthday tomorrow. And it says, welcome, Anne. So cute. That was day one. Pretty chill. I didn't really do much that day. I just kind of like laid in bed and just kind of figured out what my plans were going to be for the next day. And then we're going to go in with the concealer. So yeah, that was a pretty boring first day. And then the next day is when my roommate came. Don't really even remember her name. This was a long time ago. BT dubs, like I said, September 2020. So almost a year ago. But yeah, so then my roommate came. We said our hellos. She kind of seemed a little off. Like, she didn't really seem like the most social person, which was fine. I didn't think we were gonna have, you know, become like best friends or anything like that. So it was what it was, and I was like, whatever, I guess we're just not gonna talk. And she honestly was in the room more often than I was, it seemed like. So I was kind of like wondering like why she even was staying in the hostel. And I think she lives local, like she lived like in the LA. So I still don't even know what she was doing in that hostel, honestly, because she just stayed inside most of the time. The only time she really went out was to smoke or something, unless she was gone while I was gone, and we just so happened to come back at the same time, which I doubt that was the case. She didn't really do anything. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and but I didn't really look too much into it. And the next day I went, like my birthday, first I went to go get breakfast at this like waffle place, and I'll show you guys what I got. And then I also, later that day, I went on a tour of like Beverly Hills and like Hollywood and all that fun stuff. I actually met someone from The Bachelorette, which is pretty cool, like that blonde haired girl with short hair. I forget her name, but I didn't know who she was because I never watched The Bachelorette. But then I posted it on my Instagram. I was like, hey, does anyone know who this is? And they told me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I know this looks like a mess right now. This is just my process, but trust me, it's gonna look great. I'm not a makeup artist. I just do what works for me, so no judgment, please and thank you. I don't need it. I don't need a judgment. I don't need it. Anyways, I love it. I'm just gonna do this for fun. There's no reason for this. There's literally no reason for this. After my tour, I went back to my room and I just chilled for a little bit. And that was pretty much that whole day. I didn't really do too much on my birthday because, again, it was more of like a chill vacation for me since I couldn't really do too much anyway. So yeah, I just kind of like watched Netflix or whatever. Like the hostel had a living area. I think it was like called like a common room, kind of like dorms do. And so I watched some stuff on there, and that was the end of day one, or technically day two, I guess. Trust the process. The next day is when things started to get a little weird. I went to the beach that day. I went to Venice Beach. Super nice. I highly recommend it. I met some pretty cool girls who were like recording for, I guess, like this commercial, I guess, that they were in or something. And there was like a skating video, so they were skating, and I asked them if I could just like watch them. I look crazy. I really hope this is gonna look good because this is kind of lighter than I would want. But yeah, and I asked if I could watch them, and they let me just kind of watch them a little bit. I spent like a couple hours at the beach, and then I remember those two guys because they asked me to hang out, and I told them I wasn't sure what my plans were, and I would hit them up or whatever whenever I'm free. And so I was like, oh, maybe they want to hang out. And so I hit them up, and they were both busy with like their own like shoots that they had to do. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I go home or go to my hostel that night after just spending the day out doing whatever, and I walk in, and then mind you, the door was not locked because like they gave us like a code to open it, but the door was like slightly open still, so I feel like that was the first problem. And then I walk in, and then my roommate was just like dancing with just her underwear on. Like she didn't have a top on, she didn't have a bra on, she didn't have anything. And I was just like, what is happening here? And I really wish that door was locked so then she could realize I was coming in. But she did not even seem like at all fazed by the fact that I just walked in on her. Like she was just like, okay, whatever. And like, don't get me wrong, we're both girls, so we all have, you know, the same features for the most part or whatever. But I didn't know her like that, so I feel like for her to be that comfortable with me just seeing her was like a little concerning. And then I was like, oh, hey, sorry, like, do you want me to step out for a second? She was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll just put my shirt on real quick or whatever. And I didn't really want to ask what she was doing because, you know, I don't know her like that, so that's her business. I'm not gonna try and like be involved in that. But then she just decided to start talking to me about it because maybe she didn't want me to feel uncomfortable. But she's like, oh, hey, sorry, I was practicing, I'm a dancer. And she was just telling me what she did and stuff like that. And I guess she's like a stripper. And yeah, so I was like, oh, cool, I'm sharing a room with a stripper. That's interesting. Which obviously no judgment. Jesus loves you, and that's all I can say about that. Like, oh jeez, trust the process, guys. Trust the process. I'm just playing around with this at this point. Like, there's no like real logic to this. I'm gonna put some over here. I don't know, I just like my face to look light, so this is what we're doing. Oh jeez, I was posing for my thumbnail. But anyways, yeah, so then she told me, and I was like, that's crazy. And I didn't really want to tell my family about it because they would probably freak out. So I was like, who would this be interesting to tell this to? So I was like, I'm just gonna tell it to the people that I met on the plane, the two guys, because I just thought it would be really funny and I had to tell somebody. And so yeah, I told them, I messaged them on Instagram because I didn't have their numbers, and I was already talking about potentially hanging out or whatever. And so they were like, oh, that's so crazy or whatever. And then them being guys, they were like, oh, we should, oh, dang it. Like, you should tell her to hit us up and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know her like that, so no thank you. But they were being very playful and like harmless, so I wasn't really like super thrown off by it. I was just like, you know, whatever, they're just being stupid. I'm not gonna think any more on that. Okay, so then I'm also going to go in with this right here. It's my contour. It's gonna make my nose like look so popping. Like, you guys are not even ready for this. Like, you guys think this looks ridiculous, but just wait. Just wait. Then that was the end of that night. And now we're inching towards my last full day. I was spending it more of like a chill day and just kind of exploring like Hollywood. And so I went to Hollywood, I walked around. I was looking for, what I did on my Instagram was I asked people to like name like famous people, and then I would try and find their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And so that's what I did. And I also, there's a mall there, so I went to the mall, and I can't remember if I bought anything or not, but I was just chilling at the mall that they had like near Hollywood. And so yeah, I did that. And then I also later that day went and got this like little waffle ice cream thing, or it was like a waffle ice cream thing. It was so good. It was called the llama or something like that. Yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing. Let me just do this first because I can't talk and do this at the same time. That night after I got my my delicious late night dessert, because I think it was like later in the day, it was like 7 or 8 or whatever, I went back to my room, was just chilling, and I get a message from the 2 guys. And mind you, I never even like hung out with them. I never got a chance, but I never, like, it wasn't like that big of a deal for me to do it. It was kind of just like if I have the time, and it worked out because I didn't know them very well and I was by myself on this trip. So if we ever did hang out, it would have to be in like a public place. Like I was thinking that if they went to, you know, to the beach while I was there, then that would be fine because there's plenty of people around as witnesses in case anything happened to me, you know. And they never knew where I was staying either, so just in case anyone was wondering about that, like that's something to be mindful of whenever you go on a trip by yourself. I look white, but it's okay. They randomly messaged me, and I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they just want to see, you know, how I'm doing before, you know, I leave the next day. And they started talking to me like, hey, you want to do something fun? You want to come over to our hotel or whatever? And this was like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, I'm sorry, that's a little late for me, and I don't even know what you guys would want to do because, like, no. But I was curious, so I just kept like asking, like, before I even said officially no, I was just like, oh, what do you guys have in mind or whatever? And they were just like, oh, you know, just having, okay, I can't do this, and like, I'm gonna go like this. They were like, hey, you know, just have some fun or whatever. Since this is your last night and whatnot. And then they were like, hey, do you think your friend would want to join us as well, like your roommate? And I'm just like, I don't even know this girl. Like, we barely shared, I have to fix this, but we barely shared a couple words to each other. Like, we didn't really talk, and the only time we did talk was when she told me that she was a stripper. So it was what it was. But yeah, so long story short, I later on found out what their true intentions were, that they were basically just trying to have sex with me, the both of them, which it made me lose a little hope for humanity, because in my mind I'm just like, what did I do or say to make you think that it was okay to ask me that? Like, it's just like, does not make any sense. Like, why are you so bold to ask me these questions? Like, why? No hesitation, and you just assumed that I was gonna be the kind of girl, like, mind you, I gave them a little bit of backstory on my life. Not that, I mean, there has been people who claim to be a certain thing, but then, you know, they don't walk the walk or whatever the case may be. But I was telling them about, like, because I had my guitar and they were asking about it, and I was like, oh, you know, I do worship at my church and blah blah blah, and I would reference my church, and like, because church is like my life. I feel like I'm there like 24/7. So that was like a big part of the conversation that we had when we initially met. So then just thinking like that they thought it would make sense to ask me that, and they thought that they would have a chance at that happening, was just a little like mind-boggling to me. Like, I was very surprised, to say the least. Like, I was like, excuse me. But yeah, they legit asked me that, and I told them no, and I was a little bit too nice about it, but if you know me, that's my personality. Sometimes I'm not direct enough because I care too much about what people think, and I really shouldn't, because at the end of the day, they're adults, they can take it. If they're gonna say something bold like that, they need to be able to handle the response. So I really wish I had this mentality when it happened, but whatever. I care too much. I'm trying to work on it. God's working in me. So then I just told them no, and then they were like, okay, whatever, and they didn't hit me up anymore. And that was the end of that night. I just went to sleep, and I was just astonished. And honestly, part of me was like kind of upset because I felt like so disrespected in a way. Like, just the fact that they felt so comfortable asking that, like, it made me feel like I was a little, like, I was worthless, I guess, like that. Because I really like thought they were cool, and I wanted to continue a lasting like friendship with them. Like, obviously I'm not gonna hang out with them because they actually live in New York, and I'm not from there. I don't go there ever, so you know, we weren't gonna like hang out or anything like that. But I figured we can stay connected and whatnot. So just to think that, like, and maybe this wasn't the case, but it seems like this was the case, that the only reason that they even bothered to talk to me or to continue, like, you know, to add me on Instagram or whatever, and that was just like their intention the entire time, was just to hook up with me, and the both of them, which to me that's still like, it's like crazy. I'm just like, what? Like, why did you, like, maybe asking a random girl to have sex with you, if it was just you, that might be more like something that could work out for you. But to ask a girl about the both of you, you and your friend, like, that's, people are really out here being bold. Like, I will pray for you guys. I'll pray for you, but no. The crazy thing is too, like, one of the guys, the model, he later on like apologized to me about everything. Like, this was like way after my trip, and because I removed both of them from my Instagram, but then he reached out to me and was just like, hey, I'm sorry, whatever. And I don't know, I just saw like he was very genuine about it, and so I ended up giving him my phone number, and we were talking for a little bit, like just as friends, like nothing crazy. But yeah, I actually built up a friendship out of that, because yeah, and I just shared with him like, hey, you know, it is what it is. But I was just kind of like thrown off by that, because I was not expecting that to go the way that it did. But moral of the story is, you never know people's intentions, and to be safe. Oh, so let me actually go in here with my foundation. It's also Fit Me. This is like the best foundation I've had so far. And I bought some pretty expensive foundation from, what's it called? From Sephora. So this says a lot. It hasn't steered me wrong, so I don't know if you guys have used it and you've had different results, but it works great for me, and it matches my skin color perfectly, even though it may not seem like it right now. But it's matte and poreless, Fit Me, and it's like the 370 if you guys think that you're the same skin tone as me. So again, I don't really have anything to apply it with, so we're just gonna like dab this on my hand. And I'm gonna look at you guys, the camera, so then I can see. No, too much. We're just gonna do a little bit, because I don't want to take away from like my highlight and everything that or not my highlight, my concealer that I just did. So this is just to kind of like match my color a little bit more, because you can't tell in the camera, but it looks a little crazy right now. I might add a little bit more contour like for my nose, just to kind of help that pop out more, because it kind of like blended in. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need more of that. If you guys have any tips on makeup, like how to, like if you see that I'm doing anything like that I could be doing better, basically, feel free to reach out to me, because I don't, like, you know, I'm not a professional, I don't claim to be one, and if there's any way I can improve, then I'm all for it. Obviously don't be rude about it, because then I would just ignore you. But if you're coming at me, correct. Bro, this foundation is bomb. That was pretty much the gist of my story, guys. I don't know if I missed anything important. I don't think I did, but yeah, they're just a little strange. And I will say that the trip itself, like aside from everything that went on, like honestly, I felt pretty confident in my ability to like after taking it, like going on this trip, I felt pretty confident in my ability to go somewhere by myself and still be safe at the same time, like because it was my first time, so I was still kind of learning everything. But I did my research. I, you know, learned really well from my mom when it comes to going in places that by myself or whatever. Like I took precautions. One thing I would recommend would be to bring water with you wherever you go. Most of the time I was doing a lot of walking, so having water was always a good thing. I had a charger with me everywhere I went because you never know if you need to contact somebody and your phone just happens to die, especially if you're in a strange place. You just never know when you're gonna need a charger, so always have a charger with you. And obviously never tell anybody where you're staying, or never tell anyone that you are by yourself, because that's not good. And just don't make yourself look like a tourist. I walked everywhere, and every time I went somewhere, I did not ever give the impression, whether I was lost or not, I never gave the impression that I was. I only asked directions from like law enforcement because I didn't want somebody to take the fact that I don't know where I'm going as a way to, like, you know, just me showing that I'm vulnerable. So those are kind of a couple things that I did to ensure my safety. So I highly recommend that if you guys decide to take a trip by yourself, do that. And just do it within your comfort level, because if you're not comfortable with it, I definitely see the risk. So I wouldn't recommend it for anybody who is not comfortable. But if you feel confident and you take the necessary steps, like another thing I did too was I gave both a friend of mine and my mom my location on my iPhone, so they knew where I was at all times, and I would check in with them periodically. And if they ever saw that I wasn't home for a while, or like at the hostel for a while, they would hit me up, be like, hey, what are you doing? So just taking precautions like that is honestly the best thing that you can do. And I would post on Instagram a lot too, so people knew I was alive, you know. I'm just gonna like perfect this a little bit. I'll put some powder just so you guys know I don't have to keep talking, but I'm gonna put this powder on. It is Black Radiance. And then I'm gonna probably do my eyeliner next. So I might use like a combination of these. Oh wait, where's the other one? Of these two, the skinny, super skinny marker and the NYX point pen. Guys, I don't know how I feel about this, so I tried something different with the eyeliner. I usually don't have it as thick. And of course it's not usually this eyeliner that I use. You guys don't even know, this would look so much better if I had my regular eyeliner, but it is okay. You can't, okay, it actually looks better when the light's not blaring on it, but I'm pretty much set with my makeup. Like I said, I don't do anything crazy. Like, it's usually pretty simple. Like, starting to tear up now. If you just like don't look at the lighting, like just look at my, like, this lighting is terrible. Like, it's super cute. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me on this, and I hope you like my cute little look. I'm gonna try to make, okay, there we go. This is cute. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and get my outfit on to complete the look. But this is my outfit. Cute little top. And then I got some ripped jeans. And these shoes. Ugh, this lighting is so terrible for the makeup, but it's fine. I just trust me on this, guys. It looks cute. I don't know why this hair keeps wanting to stick out. Can you not? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I just wanted to remind you that Jesus loves you, I love you, and if you haven't heard that anyone's loved you today, you already know 2 people love you, so yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.